If you had a drummer like that in your band, you'd be like, yeah, man, do whatever you want. It's Trivium time. So if you're new here, welcome to my Trivium reaction series, and this is something that started a few months ago now when I asked you guys to help me get into this band. So Trivium were a band that initially never really did it for me, however thanks to you guys and your great song suggestions, that is all starting to change for me. So that said, today is a very special day as we have brand new Trivium music to listen to and react to. So up to this point, I've pretty much heard something from all of their albums in their back catalogue, and after hearing some of what was on their last album, The Court of the Dragon, I am so excited to hear what direction they've gone in next. So I guess that pretty much sets us up. Let's get into the song. So this song is called Bury Me With My Screams. This is the first Trivium music I believe we've had since 2021. Correct me if I'm wrong there, just because I've been doing this whole reaction series. By no means am I an expert on this band, but I believe this is sort of like the first music we've had since Court of the Dragon. So this is Trivium. This is Bury Me With My Screams. Let's get into it. Oh. Okay. Right, so first things first, they're not holding back, are they? No sort of elongated, slow grow, slow sort of intro. It's very much like we're not messing around, we're back. Here's the heavy music. And I did hear as well that they've been inspired by the Ascendancy album for some of these songs and this new music. And that really shows with all those tight, fast, gallopy riffs and stuff like that. I'm just going to move it back a little bit because there's a lot to take in there. There's Corey's Eventide guitar tone. We've talked about that in my other videos. Recently found out just what he's using there on his leads. Gives you that kind of like 80s sound effect, if you like. So all the elements are here, and especially Matt Heffy's right hand. We talked about this in the last video, how his right hand to me is super tight, but it always feels like it's gonna spin off the track at any moment. It's quite chaotic. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, that riff and this guitar is far too big for this setup that I've got going on, but we'll make the most of it. Something like that. So that right there is it's like a 4th fret song. Sort of pedaling off of the 4th fret, but the thing that's interesting to me here is, you know, a lot of 4th fret songs, you know, if you think of like Caustic of the Ties That Bind, or if you think with Bullet for My Valentine, Ashes of the Innocent, that sort of thing, they're these really sort of emotive, sad songs, generally speaking. You know, you've got the whole... You've got that sort of a thing going on. However, this is a completely different vibe right here. It's got a lot of nasty sort of... nasty notes. So this is quite refreshing, actually. If we want to know the tuning for this one, I believe it's, from what I've been able to gather, it's your standard drop C sharp tuning that they've used exclusively across their career. Wow. Just bury me with my screams. Just pulling me down inside. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was quite a riff, wasn't it? Wow, that's quite a riff right there. He's got the sort of bend on the third fret going on, and that I guess would be sort of a major 7 note, so it's kind of going back to the whole harmonic minor thing. That's really cool. I always associate that galloping, that sort of galloping pattern there with Matt Heffy. I know a lot of people have done it, but when he picks up the guitar, that whole sort of that sort of picking pattern is what I expect to come out of him. Whoa.
Just bury me with my screams. Just falling me down inside. I can't see that I know where the body lays inside. So bury me with my screams. I must cut myself out of this.
This is really unusual, isn't it? It's very janky. And Alex is really showing off on his drums. But if you had a drummer like that in your band, you'd be like, yeah, man, do whatever you want. Like, yeah, just do it, you know, because he's absolutely incredible. Before I got to The Sin and the Sentence, a lot of you guys were saying, like, wait until you hear him on that album. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, you know. Not being much of a drums guy myself. But then when I got to it, when I put that first track on, and, like, he comes, like, right out of the gate, it was so noticeable. I was like, now I see. Now I see. He's absolutely incredible, and he just brings such a vicious and aggressive element to this band. He really completes the lineup. And just to pick that riff apart for a second, because it is quite interesting the way that it moves. They're using the harmonic minor scale. You guys who've been following this series will be absolutely sick to death of me harping on about this scale, right? But it's just what this band seems to gravitate toward. They use it in their choruses, in their riffs. It's just what they do, right? But for those of you who are new here, it's a minor scale with a raised 7th degree, okay? So it gives you that sort of castles and dragons sort of spooky idea. And the riff itself, how they're getting away with that weird sort of movement there. You know, they're starting on the root note, back into the major 7. Okay, and then right here, you've got your 5th into your minor 6. So that's minor 6 right there is what sort of gives it that sort of jarring, urgent sort of feel. And that part on the end right there, that's the really sort of menacing element in the riff, I would say. Basically, the idea is you're taking that minor 6 note up to the major 7, which has got the tension, okay? And then it resolves back to the root nicely. Okay, so that's sort of where that riff's coming from. Nice. There's no one set idea that they're doing in the rhythm patterns. You know, obviously it's got its hallmarks and the notes that they're using, but, you know, sometimes they're letting the chords ring out. Sometimes they're going in for a palm muted sort of down pick idea. Then there's gallops, then there's trem picking. You know, there's loads of different elements that they've done. They've just basically tried to make the most aggressive song I think they could possibly make. Vocally, it sounds very good. You know, we've talked about this in all my previous videos about how Matt's journey as a vocalist has been one of many ups and downs. And especially on that last album, you know, when I listened to the Phalanx, his vocals just seem to be so strong there. And I made the comment that, you know, what is that, like 10 albums in? Yeah, it's a long career at that point. But 10 albums in and you sound the strongest you've ever sounded. You know, how proud of yourself you would feel. There is, again, a confidence here. I talked about that confidence in The Sin and the Sentence. You know, coming off of the back of some albums that maybe didn't quite resonate with some people. However, you know, drummer change, the voice is back. You know, with the screaming elements and stuff like that, the album just came in with such a confidence. You know, there was no sort of slow build-up intro track or anything like that. And this is the same for me. I'm just hearing bravado. You know, they're just flinging it around, they're puffing their chests out, and rightly so. We are Trivium. We play heavy music. We do it well. Enjoy, I guess.
From the depths that are most turmoil, I know when a body leaves. So bury me with my stride.
Is that a trade-off? Maybe. Very tasteful. Okay, where's this going? Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's... something like that. I can't quite get it, but that's really cool use of chromaticism right there. Something like that, but that's a really cool riff, and it's just 3 frets, you know? Damn, this is good. There it was again. And going down again to that sort of minor 6. Major 7 idea. It just, yeah, it's tried and tested. It works every time. It's so cinematic, you know, and theatrical and dark. And I've always preferred rhythm to lead guitar playing. And the thing I like about Trivium is they've got these really sort of interesting riffs, but they've always got like these curious rhythm sections in the middle of their songs, which are the parts that I most look forward to when getting into a Trivium song. I always know that once you get past like the intro and the chorus and stuff like that, there's going to be like a riff buried in there, in sort of like the middle section or maybe after the solo, whatever, that's going to be interesting and make me want to pick up my guitar and go, oh, what's, you know, what are they playing there? How can I figure that out, you know? Heavy music tends to appeal to guitar players because it's a very desirable art form. You know, if you've wrote music that inspires other people to pick up their guitars, whether you're a beginner or whatever it is, you know, a lot like back in the day when I first heard Metallica, you know, that influence, that inspired me to go and pick up my guitar when I'd hear a track and start working things out. And I think that, you know, as a band, if you can inspire people with your music to go and pick up an instrument and just start getting curious with it and start to work out the riffs, or heck, it might even be drums or bass or whatever it is, or singing. It's like, not only do you want to listen to my music, but you want to be able to play it. And that must be the biggest compliment ever. I really hope you guys are enjoying this Trivium reaction, and here's a quick reminder to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here. I also want to take a quick moment to mention my Bullet for My Valentine guitar lesson library, which is over on my Patreon page. If you've fallen prey to bad Bullet for My Valentine tabs in the past and there's a little bit of confusion there and you want to learn their songs properly, head over to my Bullet for My Valentine guitar lesson library, which is over on my Patreon page. This is my ever-growing series of Bullet for My Valentine guitar lessons where I break down all their songs and teach you all the guitar parts. Members of the library can also request what songs I do, so if you head on over there and you don't see the song that you want to learn, get yourself signed up, put your request in, and you'll get full priority on what I do. The lessons are also available for one-off purchase on my Patreon shop as well, so you can just buy the lessons outright rather than signing up monthly if that's what you prefer. Members also get access to the isolated stems for each song that I do, so that's guitars, bass, drums, and vocals. They also have access to my quick lessons series, which are more general guitar lessons where I share my love for guitar theory and other things. So yeah, this is 100% the best way that you can support this channel, other than hitting like and subscribe, of course. So if you want some Bullet for My Valentine guitar lessons, they're in-depth and as accurate as I can possibly get them, head over to my Bullet for My Valentine guitar lesson library and see what's over there. That's great. What's going on? That's quite a riff, that, isn't it? Is it just me, or have I never... Well, like I said, I've not listened to everything. I'm no expert, but that's like, I've not really heard Trivium do that sort of a gappy thing with all the drum fills before. Listen to the double bass there, or the double kick, I should say. The production is brilliant. You know, it's not like shiny, over polished production. You know, the way it's moved in this day and age with music is, you know, a lot of metal bands almost have like a pop kind of production. Which is quite clever, really, you know, because I mean, and I really dig it. I like it a lot, you know, especially like with the bass and stuff like that. And I think it's a really clever thing to do, to package your music in a way that it might just appeal to the average listener. You know, what's the best way to sell a vegan cheeseburger or a you know, a vegetarian cheeseburger? You package it like an actual cheeseburger. You make it look like a real cheeseburger, right? And you know, so it works, you know, if you think of like Bring Me the Horizon and all that. Whereas this is really good metal production, but it's not like that shiny, polished, over the top production. It sounds like you're in the room with the band on this. It sounds like a live performance, which is really cool. You know, it's got a lot of the flesh and blood in there, if you like. Rain? Is that like an Easter egg? Like the song? Or maybe, I hope you get that reference. So I don't know how you core Trivium fans feel about this one. You know, you guys who've been listening since the very beginning. Again, I am new to all this, so I'm just enjoying everything for what it is. You know, at the end of the day, I'm here for heavy, aggressive music. That's what this band does well. And that's a fine example of a heavy metal song right there. I like the fact that it didn't go for the whole sort of slow building and all that. You know, there's a time and a place for that. Do not get me wrong. You know, 9 Into What the Dead Man Say, that's very cool. And, you know, they've done it before and lots of other bands have done it before. But every now and then I just like a good, direct, no messing round track to just come straight in and just blow your head off, right? And I think this delivered that. Musically, they're doing a great job of just basically repackaging the same notes that they've been playing around with forever, and you wouldn't want it any different, you know? I love the whole note choice that they've gone for with the I love the fact that this is a 4th fret song, but it's not a 4th fret song in the way that you would expect it to be. You know, those really sort of epic emotive. You know, that sort of thing. And there was no sort of pedal point metalcore in there. It was all just sort of ragging away on, you know, big fat chords. And so they've managed to repackage the whole 4th fret song idea, but, you know, give it a whole new vibe and feel and make it just angry and dark and heavy. As far as the chorus goes on this one, yeah, it's big and it works and stuff like that, but I don't think a point of a song like this, you know, or the unique selling point, if you like, is the chorus. This is not made for jumping up and down, sing along. This is just made for ragging and letting your demons out, I suppose. You know, this is just meant to be a heavy and in-your-face song. So yeah, once more, Trivium delivers the goods. This was a lot of fun. It's gonna take a little while for the song to bed in. This was just my sort of first impressions, and my first time listening to it, of course, you know, and just working stuff out. But, you know, I'm liking what I'm hearing so far, and this journey with Trivium continues to be a lot of fun for me, and none of this would be happening if it wasn't for you guys leaving comments down below and requesting songs for me to react to, so keep them coming. We are all up to date now. That is the majority of the albums covered, plus the new song, okay? So for you guys who are new, be sure to go back and watch my previous reactions just so you know what I've listened to, okay? And for you guys who've been here for a while on this journey since the beginning, which album are we going back to? I really want to go back to What the Dead Men Say before I go any further with anything else, because I promised you I was going to do a song or two off of that. So I think that's where I'm going to be going next. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you're a die-hard Trivium fan and you've been there since the start, did this live up to your expectations or didn't it? Are you excited for the new EP and album? Let me know. So yeah, I guess that's the video. Thank you so much if you've made it this far in. Please consider hitting the like button and subscribing if you're new here. Be sure to check out my Patreon page if you want to support this channel, as there's loads of guitar lessons on there. Or if you'd like one-to-one guitar lessons with me online, all the links are down below in the description for you. So, that said, this has been Trivium. You guys have been awesome. I've been Nice92. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.